Hello grade 8. This is the long-awaited video on 2.5 orders of operations with integers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few more examples of this, so hopefully it does hit home and you can use this video to review yourself and help you with the assignment. And I'm actually might be giving you a couple of examples from the assignment itself. Okay, so let's begin. Let's try one. But first of all, orders of operations. What is that about? Well, it really comes back to this acronym right here. Okay, and BEDMAS. Again, in the United States, I think you use instead of B here, they use a P for parentheses. But here, we use BEDMAS, and the B stands for brackets. Okay, and the thing with brackets is it actually has to have operations inside it. Okay, so this itself is not technically operations with brackets in it. This is just actually containing the integer -3. Okay, so this does not count as far as brackets does. Okay, if the bracket has an operation, let's say such as this, and again we'll get some examples a little bit later. If this was had an operation that looked like this, then this actually would be, and sometimes they actually use a big square brackets for this. This would count as brackets because it does have an operation, it has a subtraction in it. Okay, E stands for exponents. So if you see any exponents, then you do that first. An example of exponents, let's say, is 2 to the 3, which is actually equal to 2 times 2 times 2, in case you're not sure yet what exponents actually are. And so this would be then equal to 8. In this case, in this actual section, we don't really have any exponents in it, so we'll deal with that a little bit later. The next one is to divide. After that is multiply. And rule is, from here, you do these in order from left to right, whichever one comes first. Okay, so this is all preliminary information. And finally, the A is to add and S is to subtract. So when you have multiple operations in an equation, then make sure you're doing it in this order, from top to bottom. Okay, and again, if you have add and subtract together, they are done in order from left to right. Okay, so those are rules of orders of operation. And so now let's get into an example. So let's try, how about this one? 6 square bracket 2 plus -5. Okay, so again, let's go back to the rules here. You have to. Brackets first, exponents, divide, multiply, subtract. Well, let's have a look at our expression over here. We do have this 6 up against this square bracket is a multiplication, but we do have a square bracket here, so whatever is in this square bracket, there is an operation, an addition, so we actually have to do this first. This will be, I guess I'll number this number 1, and the 6, I'll just write it out the way it is because this 6 is waiting for an answer from this first operation. Okay, so again, now this is 2 plus -5, and if you need a review on adding integers, let's just have a look at, let's do this off to the side. Have a look at a little review for grade 7 integers. So if I was to use integer chips, okay, this 2 would then just be 2 plus 5 negative chips that I will shade in because I believe in grade 7 they used shaded in as a negative chips and unshaded as positive chips. Well, now that you have this as an addition, you simply can just cancel out 0 pairs. 2 of these positives will cancel out with 2 of these negatives, leaving you with 3 negative chips. So our answer for this is actually -3. So you can do this off to the side, or you can use a calculator if you like. So now my answer is going to go down here. And now finally we have this operation, which is just 6 times -3. And that is equal to 18, -18. Okay, so let's try another one. Let's try a bit more challenging one. And how about this one over here? -24 divided by 12 plus -3 up against -4. So what are the operations we have here? We have a division, we have an addition, and two brackets butted up against each other like this. This is actually a multiplication. Okay? Division, addition, and a multiplication. Well, which one should we do first? According to BEDMAS, I think we should do the division first, then the multiplication, and then the last thing we do is add. So, going back to our example, here's a division. We have to do that first. That's number 1. So because we're waiting for an answer there, we're just going to write these guys exactly the way they are, because we're waiting for an answer from this -24 divided by 12. Okay? So when they're dividing integers, you know that the negative divided by a positive is a negative, and then 24 divided by 12 is 2. So there's our answer for that. Now we have an addition and a multiplication. Again, according to BEDMAS, we should do multiplication first before we add. Okay? So back in our example, here we are. We actually have to do this multiplication next. So that's operation number 2. I'm going to write this -2 the way it is, because I'm waiting for an answer for this. So what is the answer for -3 times -4? Well, a negative times a negative is a positive, and 3 times 4 is 12. Finally, we can add now, because that is one of the last operations we need to do. -2 plus positive 12. The positives are going to win. If you think about, red versus blue, when it's an addition, red versus blue, there's a lot more blues, there's a lot more positives here, so they are going to win by 10. And so here is our final answer, positive 10. Okay, let's try one last example before we go into the worksheet examples. You will get a question that looks something like this, okay? And don't get too intimidated by it, because it is possible if you just follow the rules and figure out what to do first, what to do next, okay? So we have a whole lot going on here. But the rule for this kind of equation is do all your operations in the top, do all your operations in the bottom, and then finally this line is actually divide the top divided by the bottom. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do all the operations there. We're going to finish this off, then we're going to solve this, and then finally divide the top and the bottom. Okay, so the division of the top and bottom will be last. Well, all right, let's look at this top piece over here. What do I have to do first here? Well, I can see that there's a square bracket here with an operation inside it. So this is actually number 1 right here. So inside this bracket is 19 minus 5. So I'm going to do this off to the side for you. If you recall, subtracting integers, the proper thing to do is, or the technique recommended is, to actually add the opposite. Okay? That's the easiest way to actually subtract integers. Add the opposite. Okay? So now we have 19 plus 5 here, which is equal to 24. And so that's the answer we're going to have for here. positive 24 divided by negative 3. So now I'm just going to write out everybody else the way they are. If you like to, you can actually do this operation under here right away if you like. We can do that. 2 times negative 2 is actually negative 4. Okay? So that part is done. This part of the top is done. So now we still got to finish this top part. We still have a 24 divided by negative 3. Okay? So this would be next. Okay? 24 divided by negative 3, I think that is negative 8. All that over negative 4. And finally, this is actually division. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 will give us a positive 2. Okay? So, if you ever get lost in any of the steps, you can pause this, rewind it, view it again. But now I'm going to show you some examples from the assignment itself. Which is right here. Okay? So, if you're also having a hard time seeing some of the questions from the print that I gave you, well, here it is. You can view it here. You can pause it. This question over here, don't forget, is actually a matching question. That means you solve each of these, get an answer, and you put your arrows where they need to be. Okay? So hopefully these questions are clear enough. I think I might have done a couple of these in class already, so I don't know how much more you want me to do. Okay, so hopefully this clarifies what the questions are. But just for the heck of it, I think I'll give you one more example from here, one free one. I think, how about we do this one over here, n. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this and I'll show you how to do this one, orders of operations. Okay, so this one is for this question n. All right, so here we go. How do we solve this? Well, what operations do we have here? We have an addition, division, and a multiplication. I think according to BEDMAS, and I'll write it out here again, just as a reminder, I think we should, I don't see any brackets with operations in it. There's a bracket here that contains a negative 2. That doesn't count. No exponents, but I do have a division. What's the division? The division is between positive 12 and positive 4. That's what we have to do first. Okay, that's number 1. Okay, and I'm just going to write everybody else the way they are. Okay, because we are waiting for an answer to this first operation. And I believe 12 divided by 4 is 3. So here's our next expression after solving that first operation. We have an addition and a multiplication now. I think according to BEDMAS, we should do a multiplication before we do an addition. So let's do that. Next operation would be this. 3 times negative 2. Oops. 3 times negative 2. And again, look, I have to write the negative 5 the way it is because he's still waiting, I guess, to be included in the operations. Okay? 3 times negative 2 is, I think, negative 6. Okay? So now I have a negative 5 plus a negative 6. Okay? So again, if you're reviewing grade 7 math and you're adding integers, negative 5 plus negative 6 would actually look like this. If I was to model this with chips, it would look like this. 5 negative plus 6 negatives. Well, these are all negatives, so nobody's going to, oops. There's my 5 negative. There's my 6 negative. I'm adding them up. If there is 0 pairs here, then I can cancel them out, but there isn't any, so these are all the same chips, so in the end, you're really just adding these guys up. And in total, you're going to have 11 chips that are negative. And so that's our final answer for that, negative 11. Okay, again, this is from your assignment. This is question number 4, letter N in the box. Okay, so hopefully this video helps. I don't want to make it too long. Don't forget to solve the puzzle in the bottom here. Okay, again, if you're missing, if the handout that I gave you is unclear, please view this so that you can clarify what the questions actually look like and what the numbers are, what the operations are, and you can pause it, okay, anytime you want, rewind it anytime you want. So good luck, grade 8s. I hope you do well in this assignment. Take your time and do it properly. Have a good day.